Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Know-It-All Gaming here, and today I am giving the story of why I play World of Warships. So, I found out about this game before it was actually released, and unfortunately forgot about it when it came out. Now, recently I have started playing the game because I've always had a love for naval warfare. We have Navy blood in my family, and in fact, apart from my father and myself, so from my grandfather further, all have served in one way or another in the Navy. Now, my great-great-grandfather was one of the first person to use a wire device to go from ship to shore. I've forgotten the name of it off at the top of my head. And also my grandfather met my grandmother when he was part of the engineering corps with the Navy, and we have naval blood in our history. Now, for me, this means that with my father, I've recently shown him World of Warships. He is going to be very keen to play this game as well, because he loves history, especially naval history, and knows the names of all of the ships. So I had him recently round the house and was showing him the game, and he was asking, is the such and such ship, is the Hood, can you be the Hood, the Queen Victoria, can you be the Scharnhorst, the Tirpitz, the Bismarck, so all of the German Navy ships from World War II. He does have a strong interest in World War II history. And it will bring us closer together, because he should be getting the game himself, and I'm very much looking forward to playing this online with him. Now, other than that, this is currently one of my favourite games. You will know from my YouTube channel I do play other games. However, at the moment, I am getting the most enjoyment out of World of Warships. It's a fun game to play. It involves teamwork. Well, not all of the time, of course. You can have a team of people who don't operate very well together, which can sometimes be very frustrating, especially if you're in a battleship and you require cruiser and destroyer support and you don't get it from your teammates. So something I will also be doing going forwards is looking for more people to play with, so get some of my friends playing it. Through history, I still do, but play EVE Online, which is a very social game. I was also an EVE radio DJ for 4 years, so I'm very familiar with friendly combat, so getting a group of people together, organising, and all playing together at the same time. Now, currently, I have a 19-month-old son and family, which does restrict the amount of time I can commit to gaming. I've always been an avid and hardcore gamer, and in fact, going before computer games, I had an Amstrad, so Pong and Missile Command, the very earliest games. But if you go back to the 1980s, there was a game called Torpedo Run, which was a board game, but it had plastic battleships with pop-off guns, and you were a submarine, and your opponent, so one of your friends, was also a submarine, and you tried to fire these discs into the holes at the bottom of the ships, so the torpedoes that we all know very well from World of Warships. And we all know how devastating a well-placed torpedo strike can be to our battleships. Avoiding can be done, but depending on which battleship you're currently in, of course, the manoeuvrability and everything else can sometimes mean no matter how good you are, you're going to sink. But it's part of the game, and it's, again, great fun, because I love destroyer play as well. I do love playing with destroyers. In fact, there isn't a type of ship that I don't like playing with, apart from aircraft carriers. I haven't, as of yet, tried them. I do appreciate the support on the battlefield when CV players are good, and they provide good AA cover, good torpedo and bombing runs, and support the other players on the field. And of course, sometimes you can get the fairly, we all know, not great CV players, not to their discredit, of course, because they could just be starting out with carriers, and that's why they don't yet have the experience. I'm getting better at the game, and I certainly do not see me stop playing this ever. because I do love the game. I've also spent some of my real world money as well on this game. I haven't actually bought any ships yet, however I have bought weekend passes, camouflage packs, flags, various other things like that. To enhance the game, and I also love the customization of the modules and the skills as well. It gives you variance. You can build the ship to how you want to play it, and this is a game that I've recommended also to a lot of people. So again, I am hoping to get a group of friends together to be able to play regularly with. I am within a fleet, so I'm in one of the UK fleets. I haven't actually had a chance to play any clan battles, but again, having 7 people online all at the same time to participate in a clan battle sometimes is a bit of a challenge. I'm loving the new Sharks versus Eagles, although of course Sharks win every day. I picked Sharks the first day it started, that I found out about it, and have subsequently been a Shark every other day that I've played. But I am noticing that it seems that not as many people want to be Eagles. Therefore, if you select Sharks, as long as you get some ship kills, so as long as you sink some enemy ships over the course of your play on a day, you're going to guarantee yourself a crate the following day to get some coal, some camouflage, and some signal flags as well. Now, in the footage that's playing along in the background, this was taken quite a while ago, but you can see I'm currently sitting at 17,000 damage inflicted on my opponents, a citadel hit, and obviously the number of shell hits that I've had. I've learned quite a lot playing and observing other players, and it is social as well. I mean, not that I'm talking in this particular round. There we go, I've just sunk a ship. Always a very pleasant feeling when that salvo lands and you manage to take out an enemy vessel. But I do like to talk to people. I always use the F10 key at the beginning of a round to wish everyone luck, as well as obviously the other F keys. Being a new player, it took me a while to realise that all of the F keys performed various functions, so whether you need support or saying to support another allied vessel, also to thank people, request air support and everything else. One of the things I am yet to Google is how to communicate with the opposing team, because I have noticed that quite a lot of people at the beginning of a round will say good luck to the other side, which is good sportsmanship. I like that. I also like the fact that a lot of people are as enthusiastic about the ships themselves as the game. There's a lot of people that like the history. I've watched all of the video series that World of Warships have done, the how-to series. Fantastic videos, and it gave a lot of insight into how the game mechanics work. If you haven't watched it, I would certainly recommend doing so. It gives you everything you need to know about the gameplay and how the mechanics and everything are worked out. So all of the thought processes that go in when you're firing. There we go, just sunk another ship. So that's 2 ships down, so that was off of a citadel hit, and if you watch the how-to videos you'll realise that a citadel has a certain amount of health, and when that goes you're going to get the magazine. Well, it's the magazine itself actually, it's not the citadel, but how the shell penetrations are calculated against the thickness of the armour and the penetration level and the distance from target and everything else, quite fascinating and fairly accurate-ish. But there is still the game level play to this, which I find enjoyable, as although there is a lot of computation going on in the background when you are firing at your opponents, it is fun to play. It's not too realistic, because if it was to be ultra realistic, any history buff will know that of, say, firing 400 rounds at an opponent, the chances of many of those actually hitting the ship are fairly minimal. Battleship captains and their firing teams and everything else, it was actually a very challenging thing to do, to sink opponents at sea, because in World of Warships you're on a flat ocean, there is no roll. Of course, if you think back to history, the Chinese Navy, when they took out the Russian Navy, in those heavy rolling seas, the captains of that navy managed to sink pretty much destroy the entire Russian fleet because of superior tactics. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a fantastic game, and as I said, I recommend it to all people that I know that are gamers, to come and join as well. And it is social. It has a very good social element to it. I haven't experienced too much negativity in the games that I've played. I'm also part of multiple Facebook groups as well, which is nice. So all like-minded and interested people that you can comment and discuss on each other's videos and everything else, bits and pieces about the game, the latest releases. And it does have a very good active community, and I'm also hoping that my children, when they grow up, will be able to play with me as well. Of course, that does mean getting permission to get another computer and linking it up there, get maybe a LAN connection on the go, and play online together. Very much looking forward to that. Going forwards, I'm also looking forward to playing with my father as well. In fact, I shall be talking to him. I'm actually about to go on holiday, but when I come back, I'm going to be seeing if I can get him to install and line up a game together. Because it will be very interesting, because he's very familiar with naval tactics and everything else, with his interest in history, and he tells me lots of bits of information about the ships, some of which I know as well from history. So the example of the Hood, that was the flagship of the British Navy that was sunk by the Bismarck through a magazine detonation, and of course the Bismarck itself having the very unlucky misfortune to get a torpedo jammed in its rudder and to be a sitting duck for the British Navy and to be promptly sunk. Well, she wasn't promptly sunk, it took quite a while. But of course she was discovered by the bottom of the ocean by Bob Ballard of the Oceanic Naval Institute in America, and he is the same individual that discovered the RMS Titanic. Again, this goes back to the fact that I'm very much a ship buff. I do like ships and anything to do with the sea, to be honest. And so the Bismarck was found on the bottom of the ocean by Bob Ballard, who also discovered the RMS Titanic. So there's a little bit of information for you all. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to just leave this last piece of footage, which is one of my Happy DD games where I done very well. Unfortunately didn't record the whole thing, so this, as you can see, I've already got lots of ribbons, but we're already very near the end of the game because the enemy only has 2 ships left. But until next time, I'm Know-It-All Gaming, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, see you then.
Torpedoes, dead ahead.